Hey, 7th grade. Welcome to your second math focus session day. We're going to start with our calculator active part today. So take a look at question 16. The elevation of the surface of the Dead Sea is about negative 430.5 meters. The height of Mount Everest is 8,848 meters. How much higher is the peak of Mount Everest than the surface of the Dead Sea in meters? All right, we're going to draw a little picture for this one to help us out. And I encourage you to draw this picture with me. When we talked a long time ago about sea level, right, being our zero. So a lot of times they'll use this as an example to help you with your integers. So we've got, say, Mount Everest. So the peak of it is 8,848. Okay, so that would be like our positive going up. And then down below sea level is our negative 430.5. So we're thinking about how much higher, basically, the distance between these two places. So think about what operation you're going to need. There's kind of two ways to think of it. We know that we need to go from here to 0, and then from 0 up. So think about what operation we would need to do. I'm going to write it one more different way as you're thinking about what operation we'll need to do. Because remember, whenever we're getting the difference of a negative, what will we end up having to do? Okay, if you were thinking add, you're on the right track. Okay, because remember, we need to go from negative 430.5 to 0, which the absolute value, right, is 430.5, and then an additional 8,848. Right, so we're basically just adding those two things together. All right, well, we get a calculator now, so we can use that as a tool to help us. All right, our answer is 9,278.5 meters. All right, we're going to pause the video here, have you work for about 20 minutes or so, and then I'll check in with you again to help you on question 21. All right, question 21 is kind of an odd question, so I thought it might be good for us to talk about it. So question 21 is about the relationship between the circumference and the radius. So it says Adam rearranged the sectors of the circle below to make a figure that is nearly a parallelogram. So in other words, if I took apart a circle and made it into kind of a parallelogram shape, I'm going to think about what that relationship would look like. So if I go around the circle here, I have 16 sections. So 16 sections here. Okay, if I kind of relate that to my parallelogram, we know that parallelograms are a base and a height. If I look at that, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 as my base. And do you see how we would technically measure the height of it? So look at how this line right here, if I put it kind of in this line, do you kind of see how it's relating to the circle? Remember that word? It's the same as the radius of the circle. So the radius of the circle is like the height of our parallelogram. So when you look at your choices, a little bit wordy here, let's read through them and see which one fits our right answer. The perimeter of the figure equals half the circumference, and the height equals half the radius. Well, just that last part is going to be incorrect. The height is the radius, not half the radius. The perimeter of the figure equals half the circumference, and the height equals the radius. Well, the perimeter of the figure, that would be our parallelogram, would not equal half of the circumference. Because remember, if this is 8, this side is also 8. So it wouldn't be half, it would actually be all of it. So that one does not fit. It says the base equals the circumference and the height equals the radius. Okay, so the base equals the circumference would not be correct. Because remember, the circumference all the way around is 16. So that would not be correct. Hopefully D pans out here. The base equals half the circumference and the height equals the radius. So the base equals half the circumference, yes, because 16 divided by 2 is 8. And the height equals the radius. And yes, we already figured that out right up here. So D would be our correct answer. Okay, keep working for a little bit longer and we'll check in and see how you're doing on this next set of questions. Keep working hard.